I'm Tim Bradner. Welcome to Capitol Views. We're here with Fred Parady, the Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Commerce, Economic Development, Community Development, everything else. Did I get all that right, Fred?
Commerce, Community, and Economic Development, DCCED. Okay.
Well, Fred, you are Deputy Commissioner, but also you've been Acting Commissioner. There was a long period before the Commissioner who was appointed by the Governor appeared, so you were really running the show. But it seems like the department covers an amazing array of business functions and economic development, and maybe you could just give us a summary of what it spans.
Sure, and maybe let me begin with the incoming commissioner. Chris Laddick is coming in from Alaska. He'll start in mid-March, and we're looking forward to he's got 25 years of Bush, Alaska experience, 15 in Unalaska, and then in Dillingham and Galena, so deep city experience, which is useful in our department because I'll lead with the Division of Community and Regional Affairs. My first day on the job, the acting director of that division brought me the Constitution and said, hey, we're grounded in the Constitution. We're the state agency that's responsible for supporting local governments, and there's a whole host of activities there: bulk fuel loans, local boundary commission, municipal land trust. We help with QuickBooks, rural utility business advisor, just everything surrounding conducting elections and supporting our villages and local entities with local government. And of course, that's a vital heartbeat for our department. We have really regulatory protection functions, the corporation's business professional licensing. There's some 68,000 professional licenses in the state and 43 categories. That's your nurses and doctors. We don't do teachers. They're done over in the Department of Ed, but 3 new ones this last session from the legislature were massage therapists, behavior analysts, and handyman contractors. There's 21 boards and 43 professions that are licensed there.
Is the licensing expanding? Every year they're adding more?
I wouldn't say every year, but they come along at a slow pace, and there's just some complexity to administering the department. That division, also has some 60,000 plus business licenses, and then corporations, S-corps, and that kind of thing. So there's a massive administrative load, and we're continuing to plow through some IT upgrades and get that effort better situated. And then we have Division of Banking, Division of Insurance. Of course, insurance is where all lines of insurance are regulated, so personal property, casualty, health, life, etc. Both banking and insurance generate money to the general fund because they're fee-supported services. So besides those 3 divisions, we have economic development, the range of activity there, of course, tourism, fisheries. Also, we have a small amount of money. It's about $400,000 for what's called the Economic Development Initiative, and that supports the mineral report, the report that just came out of UAF on the potential for a drone industry in Alaska, where you could take advantage of our airspace for research with commercial unmanned aerial reconnaissance vehicles. There's a great report that came out this fall on the maritime industry and how we would support our shipyards in rebuilding our fishing fleet. Of course, we run the commercial fishing loan programs through DED and those kinds of activities. Then we have what's a prime topic of conversation this session, the Alcohol Beverage Control Board, which is where the marijuana initiative resides. Of course, the voters have decided that issue and put it forward to be regulated in an appropriate manner. Became legal today. Also today, we promulgated the first regulations to define public space, and we're in a 9-month process to write regulations pursuant to the initiative.
A question I have been thinking of: how can unincorporated communities deal with the regulation of this?
I think that's an astute question and a little bit of a difficult one. Of course, because it's an initiative, it didn't come through a legislative floor debate where it went back and forth. So some interesting consequences of that. It's an opt-out rather than an opt-in, and you're unincorporated areas don't really have a way to opt out. So I think that there's work that remains to be done in that area.
Is that something the legislature has to deal with, who acting as the assembly of the unorganized borough? I suppose the legislature would have to adopt.
I think we'll see that come forward through these processes these next couple months.
Yeah, it's an interesting problem because we've learned how to deal with that with alcohol regulation, unincorporated communities, but this is a whole new thing.
It's a new industry, and so that work is in our department, and then we also host through our board participation of our commissioner, we're involved with Alaska Energy Authority, ADA, AGDC, the railroad, etc. So it's I call it a conglomerate. It's a widespread set of responsibilities and really centers around consumer protection, economic development, and supporting rural local government.
Yeah, that's a broad sweep. In the case of ADA, it seems like ADA has become the state's main economic development finance entity, and it has an incredible sweep of things that it does, including business. Its business participation loan program I'm most familiar with.
And the finance expertise that's there, there's a lot of building blocks to a better economy that sit in ADA. You look back in time, our former commissioner had attended an event and said, it was interesting to think about what it took to put together the road out of Red Dog so that mine could be developed and those resources brought to market, and to support that lens to the Northwest Arctic Borough. ADA's got programs everywhere from the Mustang development up on the North Slope to just their whole host of loan programs. That you see different things come through in Casper where they're supporting a development with a participation program. An interesting detail about ADA, two details. They return a dividend to the state. I think the last dividend was $17 million and change, and they haven't had a loan write-off in 12 years.
Yeah, that's pretty remarkable.
So it's solid performance.
Well, the project that's I think most people are familiar with is the Red Dog project. That's been an outstanding success, particularly for Northwest Alaska, creating jobs out there.
Yes.
Well, Fred, thanks for joining us. It's been interesting.
Well, thank you very much, and I look forward to visiting again.
Thank you. This is Tim Bradner. Thank you for joining us at Capitol Views.